Welcome back to Investing with Confidence. I am your host, Joshua David. If you're just tuning in, Al was shedding some light about the secret to investing. The great part about that secret is there is actually no secret to investing. A lot of people get into the market because of a stock tip or a tip from a buddy, right? Well, there is no secret. Just like there's no secret in Grandma's secret pie, she just knows the recipe. If you happen to miss 2 tickets for the investing class, call 952 814 4410 or text the word invest to the number 484848 for 2 tickets for the free investing class here in Bloomington. When you do that, you're also going to receive the free crypto foundations class. Al, you want to get into on this segment here a little bit about, I guess, maybe longer term horizons, which is retirement,
Right.
and helping our listeners prepare for a financially secure retirement. And the fact of the matter is there are a lot of people struggling to retire. They don't
Right.
have enough. If they do have some, it's not enough, and they're getting by. We talk to a lot of people, and they say,
hmm
"Hey, well, we're getting by. We don't spend much." Well, what kind of retirement life is that? You want to be able to live those golden years, not be spending those golden years at the golden arches. What do you do to help people have that potential to have a more secure retirement?
Yeah, we see way too many people that come in and say, I thought I would have more when I retired, or I had to retire early because of physical or medical issues, and they just aren't prepared to face another 30, 40 years, with a retirement portfolio that might not live as long as they do. So this is how you start. I talked before, I said, we want to talk about how to be prepared for a financially secure retirement. And I think it starts with asking these questions and making sure you have the answers to them. One is, how are you protected against loss? What if we go through another bear market, that we will go through corrections? For most of you, you will experience at least one, if not several bear markets, which could take maybe 40, 50% of what you have away from you. So how are you protected? And a lot of people, that is the reason they come into these classes. They want to know how to protect themselves. And then also, how are you replacing the value of that lost income? Because the value there with the income you had is that it paid the bills and there was some security there. That's gone. So how do you replace that? And then how are you growing your retirement nest egg for maybe leaving a legacy and not running out of money, before your years of living are gone? How to handle no to little retirement savings. What are you going to do? Are you going to stand in line at a convenience store and buy a lottery ticket, not retire, maybe get extra jobs, moving in with your kids? But those are all questions that you should answer. If you can answer those questions, that gives you a great opportunity to have financial security. The only way you can really answer those questions properly and have the ability to really tap the potential that you have is to have the proper knowledge and then the guidance that helps you use that knowledge properly. We talked about corrections. If we had a major correction in March of 2020, if you had $1 million portfolio, each week for 3 weeks in a row, you lost $100,000 out of that portfolio. That was the kind of impact it had or could have on you.
And you got to think about that stuff. Would that bother you? Would that keep you up at night? If that would, now is the time to prepare for that. Even though markets are great, markets are at all-time highs,
Sure.
had a big down day on Thursday. Might be time to prepare for that, but still continue to be investing in proper conditions.
Right. Yeah. And if you're behind right now, if you're behind or in your where you are in retirement or where you want to be in retirement, or you're close to retirement, and you don't think you are where you should be, what can you do? Are you going to continue relying on advisors that put you in that situation in the first place, or relying on your own investing knowledge that got you there? There's no age limit on gaining knowledge, and there's a compounding effect on that too. The earlier you start, the greater the potential benefit can be for you. So, in short, you may have to use assets and strategies you haven't used before. This maybe is a good time to ask why you haven't used them. Well, and the answer probably is because no one's taught you how to use them. There's a fear of unknown. Fear is the most powerful emotion we have, and typically it's based on a lack of knowledge. When you go into retirement, that's the worst time to let this fear take over and either start taking more risk because you feel that's the only way to catch up, more risk without knowing what you're doing, or just maybe not taking any risk and not having the ability to get the rate of return that you need to live that secure retirement.
Yeah, and I think, Al, the fact of the matter is a lot of our listeners might have not started investing until after 2008. So they haven't experienced what a down market is.
Correct.
So they only know an up market, which is a good thing. Hopefully they've done well, but they haven't experienced that. So they just don't know. And I asked this question, I believe it was in the first segment. What would you do if you knew? And if you made a good point there. People are relying on advisors to get them to where they need to be. Are you on the path to get to where you are, where you might need to be to retire? If you don't think you are, you might need to start taking some actions for that.
Right.
If you don't even know, come to one of these investing classes because Al really dissects what you might need to potentially have a secure retirement in these free investing classes that he does right here in Bloomington. We're next to the Mall of America. They're only 2 hours. We do these during the week. We also have these on the weekend as well. So if you want to know more about potentially having a secure retirement, starts with that action. So callers 1 through 10, I want to invite you to this investing class here in Bloomington. When you call in right now, you're also going to receive the retirement planner. That'll give you some more knowledge on how to get started right away. Call 952-814-4410. That's 952-814-4410. You can also text the word invest to the number 484848. So Al, you mentioned something earlier too. I want to just cover again and make sure our listeners understand it. You have to have the proper knowledge when investing to have a secure retirement, to have that potential to be secure there. But you also need the proper guidance. And you've helped guide a lot of people understanding what their portfolios actually mean, what they may be invested in, what might be a potential different opportunity. And a big opportunity that most people that we've been seeing come to these investing classes want to know more about how to protect retirements, but also how to potentially take gains off their portfolio without really even giving up any stocks, right? There's different techniques and strategies that you teach a lot, you talk a lot about in these investing classes, but options is a big one. How to potentially protect your retirement, using that for income potential during retirement as well, because that's a big thing. People need income during retirement. Talk a little bit about options and why that might be a good option, no pun intended, for our listeners.
That was a pun intended, actually, wasn't it? Well, yeah, options are there's a bunch of options there. That's why they're called options. But a number of things you can do. It's an asset that you can use while you're accumulating assets to help grow them faster, help increase the rate of return. It's an asset you can use in retirement as a protective vehicle, so you can have basically an insurance policy on your retirement accounts. And then also when you retire, maybe you're a little more reluctant to take a big chunk of the money you've worked 30 or 40 years for in your retirement portfolio and put that into the market. Well, with options, you can have a small account. You can have a small amount of money, but still using the leverage of options, still have the potential for, a very attractive rate of return. You don't have to sell assets that you have. You can use options to boost the returns of maybe a stock portfolio that you have. Again, you can use protection there. But a lot of people shy away from options because they've heard horror stories. Well, there are stories that those horror stories are based on people using something they have no idea how to use. They've just heard how great they can be, and they jump in trying to use them without the knowledge. So it really, again, it gets down to knowledge. It gets down to education. A lot of you who watch CNBC know who Bill Griffith is. And he said this: the difference between success and failure in the stock market is education. There is no substitute for knowledge. The sad thing is that in the studies that have been done, only 26% of older Americans are retirement literate, which means 74% are illiterate, which again shows the importance of being able to access the proper knowledge and then how to use that knowledge. That's the application of it, and that should be done with the guidance of somebody who is an experienced trader investor.
Yeah, and that actually ties into the question that I just got here on the live stream on YouTube. Is there was a question about, I'm 23 with no retirement accounts. What's the first thing I should do? First, get educated and then get started. You have to get started. So whether you're 23 to the questioner, listener question there, or whether you're 33, 43, 53, or even 63, you got to get started. It starts with these investing classes. Al teaches these investing classes, different techniques and strategies for a secure retirement. So callers 1 through 10, you're going to receive 2 tickets for this investing class. I'm also going to give away a new crypto foundations class. So when you call in and mention the crypto class, you're going to receive that when you attend. Call 952-814-4410. That's 952-814-4410. You can also text the word invest to the number 484848. Al, it's baseball season, baseball time, and it's all-star week pretty quick here. What do you have coming up next for the home stretch?
Well, we've got a lot more to talk about here with retirement, and I want to address that. Was a 20-year-old that
23? Yep.
A 23-year-old. I want to address that person and just to show them what the opportunity, the great opportunity that they have ahead of them.
Opportunities in these financial markets coming up next. Once again, for 2 tickets, call 952-814-4410. This is Josh and Al. We will be right back.